So today we're working on this little city garden extension. I don't think this is going to make it to Brick World for a couple reasons, but I want to go ahead and start working on this. And I like where I've gone so far with this. This is all added. Obviously, this is all added. But my problem is it's attached at an angle, and I attached it with basically, I think, just 3 studs. And I just don't feel good about that with how much this moves around and how much I have to kind of like stretch back there. And because of it, it kind of weakens the mill's plate because it's not solidly plated the whole way back. So I'm going to look at a couple different ways to maybe secure this a little bit more securely. But I kind of like where this is going. I just want to make it better and more secure for the couple times that it does have to move. And if I do take my garden somewhere else to be displayed, I will probably take this extension with it in the future. So first thing that I am going to do is I'm going to make a mock-up of the base, which I've already done actually. This is what the bottom side of the set looks like. And so I'm gonna pull this out. I'm probably going to pull out some of what I've done already, which is totally fine. And figure out how to get this at the angle that I want it with a more secure method, probably using these hinge plates. But I'm also toying around with the idea of using some of the like turntable pieces. So I would like to make these work because I think these are going to be a much more secure and easier way of doing it. But I'm open to any of the attachment methods at the moment. So I'm going to start with these, and the turntable thing is going to be kind of my last ditch effort. So I'm going to jump into trying some things. So before I get into my other options, I thought I'd show what I did. These are the 3 studs. This all just kind of sits there, and it just kind of self-supports it. And, whoop, can't grab there. Sorry, trying to figure out how to grab this set with one hand. I had to attach a plate on the bottom to kind of make it all work. Just because of the way that the sides are attached and everything. So, like I said, it was just literally 3 studs holding it on there, and it was just not very secure. So, we're going to work on a better way to do that. Okay, so I got the kind of underpinnings done here. I'm a little embarrassed to say how long this took me. And I understand the math. So the math is all based on Pythagorean theorem and using the whole number triangles. And in fact, of course, Harley decides to play with his ball now. Then using the whole number, so like 3, 4, 5, or what's the other? Is it 7, 9, 12, or 5, 7, 13? Anyways, you can look them up. But none of those are right angle triangles. Those are all, I think, 30, 60 triangles. And I wanted this to be more at a right angle, as you can kind of see here. And so you have to use some whole number triangles that are kind of rounded. And it works on the small scale. So the one that I based this off of was 5, 5, 7 triangles. So there's 7 studs here, which actually I'm going to use this because this was my little 7 stud spacer. And then there are 5 going this way between the last stud. And then there's 5 going up to that stud, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so it works. However, when you go to take that onto a bigger level or longer, the rounding starts to come into play. And so these first 2 points are really super secure. And if that was all I was doing, this would have worked golden. I kind of played around until I found a way to get over here. Again, if that was all I was doing, it would have been golden. But I needed this to be longer to account for, sorry, I'm moving all around everywhere, to account for this huge base plate, right? And so trying to extrapolate that, I got into some rounding errors. So what I ended up doing was just sticking kind of the next one down, and there is a little bit of tension on this. I don't know if you can tell in the video, but this is bowing a little bit from the tension pulling back a little bit. It's not a lot. When I had this other one locked in here, it was like really bending. So I don't know if my math was off or if it's just the rounding errors. As you know, if you account for one base plate being 10 inches wide, you end up with rounding errors because they're not actually 10 inches wide. So I'm wondering if that's what's going on here. But anyways, what I decided to do was to lengthen it out, was to just continue it on and put a just plate. And I put a plate under all these to kind of support it so it's not wobbly. But just put a plate down here and extend it out, and it'll work. It's all square. I can pretty easily place a plate across. As you can see, it's 7 across as well. Yeah. So, anyways, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to actually place this down on top of this to get this set, maybe. I don't know. I have a little bit of height problems now. So I had originally, when I had originally set this in, it was only a brick and a plate high, or 4 plates high. If I do this, this is actually 5 plates high. So I might do this. I might also try just adding another layer here and just sticking the set right down on it. It should, in theory, go really easy. Especially if I can get this to sit really easy, because this is basically the same thing. So I think that's what I'm going to try, is I'm going to add another plate level here and just sitting the set down on and seeing what that looks like. Real quick before I pop this set on here, when I added that second plate, it actually made this really rigid, which I think is nice. So that might have been the best way to go. The other thing that I will do probably is, once I have this set on here, if I can actually plate some more to these and lock these in better than just using one of these guys, I will most likely do that, just to make it really secure, so that when I pull the set back up, if I ever need to, it doesn't pop all of those angle plates out as well. Okay, so I did not push down this yet. It looks like everything's gonna lock into place perfectly fine. The reason I didn't push down yet on this is because I want to get some plates and stuff in there before I do that. Like, it looks like this guy's gonna be able to be plated in there pretty easily. That might be the only one. Oops, sorry, taking on a tour. It looks like that might be the only one. Obviously, I can plate that in a little bit better to hold that all in there. But I also wanted to make sure that it clears and all that. Otherwise, I'm going to be back to the drawing board on some things. But it looks like this plan worked, and that's pretty exciting. So I'm going to get some plating back in here, and we'll check back in a minute. Okay, tiled into about where I thought I needed to, so I can actually get this thing pushed down. I got the water plates kind of under to where the water starts. Again, so that's all fine to just be pushed down and plopped in. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then finish filling out some stuff around it. I had to remove a couple extra pieces off the bottom of the set. You're not going to see it, but it was just hitting like a couple corners and stuff, and so it's been really kind of tricky to make sure that I'm clearing all the bottom things, because there's so much snot technique used at the bottom of this, to make sure that I'm clearing everything so that it actually sits down correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and place it in correctly and see if this was worth the effort. Okay, I got it placed in there. I can actually kind of like pick up the base plate with it. Not that I really want to. But I've ran into a couple of issues. And the biggest issue was the way that the snot techniques on this worked. If we're looking at the base plate, and let me just prop this up like this. If we're looking at the base plate, the snot techniques were coming all the way down to, whoops, shoot. God, I should have just put this on a stand. Let me do this. Sorry, y'all. So the problem was the snot techniques were bringing plates all the way down so they were flush with this, which in theory isn't a problem, except for the fact that I was trying to make stuff extend past the bottom plate. And so it was getting caught. It wouldn't push down and lock in, which actually might have been my problem before, but this has definitely remedied that problem. Like I said, this is like, oh, shoot. I just should not have done that. But it's way stronger than it was, and definitely the way to go. So let me get this finished rocked in, and we will check back in a second. Okay, I got it sit in here. I got it all bricked off. I am going to order some more. I need to get some more pink leaves to fill out kind of this section here to kind of cover over a little bit more of this. But I think, and I started to work on the path a little bit. I'm going to put a tree here. I started kind of flushing out some of this other stuff kind of as I was going. And then the other side, sorry, I'm trying to move this without knocking a bunch of stuff off. Again, I'm going to put a couple trees here. I really worked in a bunch of foliage type stuff to kind of cover over that seam between the standardly laid stuff and some of the snot techniques. And so I worked this up underneath the arm, and if you look really closely, you can kind of see that I didn't go all the way in, but I think it looks good enough for what I'm doing here. And yeah, so that's kind of where I'm gonna stop with this for right now. I don't know if I'll work on this too much more. I might work on the two. Whoopsies! I just threw something. Oh, right there. I'm going to work on the, I might work on the trees a little bit more before Brick World, but I think I'm going to kind of hold until I get back from Brick World and I can actually put this in place with the other two modules and get the paths to line up, because that's going to take a little bit of working. Get the water to go into what was the Tranquil Garden section. So there's a little bit of work in that. And so I'm going to kind of hold here with what I got. But I really kind of like where we're going with this, and make sure you like and subscribe to stay tuned for some more stuff. Thanks, y'all.